6:30 and a quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. First items on the agenda is the approval of minutes for 1/11/23, 12/7/22, 2/22/23, 2/8/23, 3/8/23, and 9/7/22. Are there any questions or comments about those minutes?
No questions.
The only thing I noticed is in the Concom minutes for January 11th, 2023, is that it says Joe Fontaine was in attendance, and that was actually the only one he was not in attendance for. So those will have to be updated. If there's no other questions or comments, could I entertain a motion to approve the minutes as discussed?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, next on the agenda is Agenda Item A. This is a public hearing, request for determination of applicability. Brendan Walsh, 6 Hillside Road, Assessors Map 98, Lot 135. Is there anybody, could you please come up and introduce yourself?
How you doing? My name is Brendan Walsh. I live at 6 Hillside Road, obviously.
And what do you plan on doing?
Just replacing my current driveway.
Replacing your current driveway? So you submitted plans that originally you were going to add on, but that's no longer the case?
Correct, yeah. I originally submitted an extension and then street to pave that, but the DPW didn't approve me on that just because of right-of-way. And then obviously conservation due to, I think it was a separate process, but I'm not sure. So I just decided just to get the current driveway paved, so.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have no questions.
Seems pretty straightforward what you're trying to do.
The only comment I would have is just looking at the picture, there's a catch basin right in front of your driveway. Just
It's not
make,
right in front.
I mean, it's offset slightly, but it's
Yeah.
right there. Just making sure that there's some erosion control or silt sack in that when you are paving.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, any other questions or comments from the commission? Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
The only comment I have is, so the driveway's in riverfront area, buffer zone, 100-year floodplain. So I don't see an issue with, the replacement of an existing driveway, provided that you're not raising the elevation of the driveway at all. It's just being brought back to its existing condition.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, so no other comments?
All right, so this is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to get up and make a comment, now is the time to do so. Give everybody a second. Not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a negative determination of applicability for Brendan Walsh, 6 Hillside Road, Assessors Map 98, Lot 135?
I'll make that motion as discussed.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next item is also a public hearing, request for determination of applicability, Edward V. Bishop Jr., 56 Michigan Road, Assessors Map 82, Lot 84. Is there anybody here for that? Could you just introduce yourself for the record?
I'm sorry?
Could you just introduce yourselves for the record?
Yeah. This is my wife Grace, and my name is Edward Bishop Jr.
And what would you like to do today?
Okay. All I want to do is replace my existing driveway, and there's no change in the footprint or anything else.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I have no questions.
Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't. This is similar to the previous project we just discussed, it's in the 100-year floodplain, so as long as there's no change in dimensions of the driveway, so height, width, length, then I have no comments.
I'm sorry?
As long as there's no change in the footprint of the driveway.
Right.
So primarily, working in the floodplain, we just don't want added material in the floodplain that pushes floodwaters off to people's properties, other
Right.
people's properties. So as long as you keep it at the same elevation, which it is or is proposed to be at the same elevation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I have no comments.
This utility map, does that say H2O right there?
So, yeah, it does because, so this is driveway replacements originally go through DPW and then I get the chance to look at it. And they care about where the water sheds off to, so they,
All right. Yeah.
if you do a replacement, I think they want you to show the water shedding
All right.
into the street.
Yeah. All right.
That's my understanding.
Excuse me, what was that about, the water shedding? What are you talking about?
So for DPW permits, I believe the DPW requires them to submit a sketch of where the water's going to be directed off of the driveway. So that's all.
Oh, so that's up to the DPW, not Eddie and I.
It would be up to the contractor, which it was already provided.
Oh, okay, all right.
Joe, this work is already done, right?
Yes, so this is after the fact.
That additional berm isn't an issue? Like near the catch basin?
There was a berm near the catch basin originally. The town put that in.
It's like 4833 versus the first picture, you can see the difference. I just want to make sure that's not an issue with it shedding towards the catch basin.
So from a Concom jurisdictional standpoint, this, we're just dealing with floodplain. I think that if there was an issue, it'd kind of be with
Okay.
DPW.
I just wasn't sure if that water goes to that catch basin, which eventually makes its way out to wetlands in that area. I don't have the full map, so, and there would be some solids control in that way, shape, or form, so it would be a Concom issue if that was the case, but if it's not an issue, I don't have the full map, so I'm trusting your judgment on this.
The catch basin has never worked.
The water,
The water comes down into our garage and into our home. So it's all well and good on paper, but it doesn't work. The water consistently, because of the slant in the street, when it rains, the water hits a certain point on the left side of the street.
right side of the street.
I'm sorry. Well, to my left now. And it makes a left-hand turn and it comes down our driveway and into our home. So our home gets flooded. So there's an order out right now for the highway department, I believe it is, Joe, I think it is.
Andrew.
With Andrew, and to come down, but it has to be looked at when it's pouring rain out. If somebody comes down there and looks at it and it's not raining, there's no purpose, because the catch basin is not working and the water is coming down our home, down our driveway and into our home. So
Yeah, and
it's twofold.
the last few rainstorms we've had, DPW has been quite busy, so it might be, it's difficult to get them out for something like this when there's, sewers, being,
We're also taxpayers and we're important too.
yes.
Okay.
So your concern is that would be directing water to the catch basin?
It's not directing water to the catch basin.
Does that berm does that help direct water to the catch basin or no?
A little bit, not much.
Because the picture, you can see pooling of water just on the street, right in
Oh,
front of that berm that's blocking it. That's
Okay.
why I asked the question.
Do you anticipate on leaving that berm in?
Yeah, I mean, unless the town decides to take it up. I mean, I've called the town the last few years because the snowplows, they come down and they tear up the berm that the town put in, go back to 2010, when they put the catch basin in at the top of,
Near
By
our
my-
mailbox.
and they come down, they have to replace the berm because the snowplows tear it up.
Which is very frustrating.
I don't have any further comment on that unless the commission found that there was an issue.
I'm good.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I'm good.
All right, this is a public hearing, so if there's anybody in the public who would like to make a comment, now's the time to do so. But not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a negative determination of applicability for Edward V. Bishop Jr., 56 Michigan Road, Assessors Map 82, Lot 84, as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
I have one question. Do we have to wait for the permit before our contract continues? How does this all work? Do we have to have in hand? Because we don't want to do anything. We don't want to touch anything
Yes.
until this is taken care of.
So it takes about 3 to 5 business days for you to get the conservation permit.
Okay,
And then once that's issued, you guys can continue work at risk. There's technically an appeal period, but you can work at risk during that time. And then once that permit is issued, I can sign off on the DPW permit.
when you're speaking of an appeal period, who can appeal it?
In theory, any of abutters that you notified,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna wait 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, to get the permit from Concom.
Do we get that in the mail?
You can either pick it up or in the mail, it's up to you.
Okay.
So can you give Eddie a call?
Sure.
I mean, when that is ready, so that we
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
We
I
can
can-
get this moving and get
Yep.
it done.
You're running out of time.
Yeah, we are.
You gotta be pushed this stone soon enough, right?
Yeah, the ground freezes, it's not gonna set right. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. All right, agenda item C, public hearing, notice of intent, James Geary of Structural HD Construction LLC, 3 Miles Road, Assessors Map 82, Lot 109, DP file number 305-1190. Is there anybody here for that? Not you, all right.
I can speak on that.
All right.
So it was recently realized that the applicant had notified abutters 6 business days prior to the public hearing rather than the required 7. So I don't think they'll be attending tonight, but I would recommend to open the public hearing, but, continue it to the next meeting.
All right. All right, well, I will open up the public hearing officially. If anybody, if you want to make a comment, now is the time to do so. But until then, does any commission member have any questions or comments on this one?
I just had a question. Joe, was this the one that you said that you saw a sump pump? Was it this?
Yes, yes.
And
I think there's just a picture of it.
was that outside? Or where was it?
Yeah,
I
so
couldn't tell from the,
it goes slightly beyond their fence. And I guess that, let me see. Well, I don't think I think I just noted it in my field notes, or maybe just,
Yeah, I read it
maybe
somewhere.
just in the,
I see it in the.
Conservation agent
The
thought.
notes.
yeah.
Conservation agents.
But yeah, basically, it goes right beyond their fence, and basically into that wetland there on the western side of the driveway.
So it's just like a pump outside?
So the pump is in there, or I assume it's a sump pump.
Oh,
because
it's in
like
their,
a-
in their house, and you
Yeah,
saw the
pump's
hose?
in their basement.
Okay.
And probably a long time ago, they dug a trench to lay a, like a 1-inch PVC pipe to just discharge the water from their basin. So whenever I find those, I just always find that it's worth mentioning to the commission, because I wouldn't like people to discharge into wetlands. But I'm not sure what a appropriate solution there is.
Not gonna say anything.
It's.
Because otherwise if we say
It's not
not
on,
to.
he's not, they're not discharging on top of the surface that you can see.
No, so it comes like, it's almost, so it's like a small depression and then it discharges almost like on the bank of that depression to the wetland.
It's probably put in how many years ago? I mean, we can't,
It's like, I don't know if we want to make them dig up their yard for that.
No, I just wasn't sure what you meant. I just saw the
Oh,
note
okay.
about the sump up,
Yeah.
and I thought it meant there was one like out in the yard or something. I was trying to just figure out what that meant.
And those two driveways those are more in the wetlands than any part of their yard is.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, that was permitted from a separate project, and I believe the identification of that sump pump pipe was noted in previous documents as well.
was,
So,
All right, well, can't take too much action on this right now. So you believe they'll be at the next meeting?
yeah.
All right, so could I have a motion to continue this notice of intent to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I-
Chair votes aye as well. All right. D and E are going to be continued, so could I have a motion to continue public hearing, notice of intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc., Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Treehouse Brewing Company, Charlton, Massachusetts, 1879 Main Street, Assessors Map 84, Lot 18, DP file number 305-11852. Do we know what meeting, continued to the October 18th meeting? Could I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
I-
Chair votes aye as well. And E, could I have a motion to continue to October 18th, 2023, public meeting, notice of intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc., on behalf of Dr. Nitesh Nahata, 38 Main Street, Assessors Map 59, Lot 58, DP file number 305-1187.
Before making that motion, Joe, is there any update on this project and when they're gonna come on?
So I'm not sure if it's or it's not an update, it's kind of the same story of they're trying to close out a certificate of compliance, or close out a previously existing order issued by Mass DEP before they proceed. And that came at the recommendation of Mass DEP. So I did reach out to them and say something to the effect of whatever meeting you want to continue, like we're gonna want you to present or do something. So they chose the 18th.
Okay, perfect.
This is the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is not the treehouse project. It's the 1438 is still parking lot related, but
Yeah.
smaller.
Yes, yeah.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
I-
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item F, enforcement order Bethany McGoldrick, 19 Pond Street, Assessors Map 31, Lot 8. Is there anybody here for that? Are you? You're here to discuss it, all right. All right. All right, well, so Joe, can you fill us in on the details so far?
Yeah, so this is basically just on the agenda to provide an update for the commission. An update as in there hasn't been one. So just to remind the commission, this was an enforcement order issued against a resident at 19 Pond Street for the application of fill in the backyard, which is essentially a wetland. And so that fill material consists of just topsoil and gravel. At my last site visit, I think in August of, late August 2023, I noticed that gravel, but the water levels are so high from the rains from over the summer that it wasn't recommended to remove any of that material just because, it's currently submerged under a few inches of water. So the plan that I discussed with the homeowner during my site visit was just kind of to wait until the water recedes, and then I'll do another site visit just to evaluate the conditions and see what can be done. But the idea is to just wait until the waters recede and then do the removal work. That's it.
All right. So this is not technically a public hearing, but it is a public meeting. If you would like to, yes, please introduce yourself for the record.
My name's Stephen Bolduc. I live at 9 Pond Street, which is directly next door. I was the one who brought this up in the spring. So now this is going on 3 months. I understand we had a wet summer, but definitely I sent pictures to Joe. I think he shared them with you guys. So my backyard was pretty flooded all summer, which I understand we had a wet summer. But the fact is, there's a violation next door that hasn't been taken care of. And I firmly believe there's no timeline, there's no incentive. So with, frost coming, and I just want to know, how do you avoid another 3-month window where the ground's going to be frozen and there's going to be more reasons for delays? I was wondering if there could be a timeline put on this, like in the fall. As of right now, the water has receded pretty well. It's semi-normal back there. It's still pretty high in some spots, but I think it's manageable. I mean, Joe could probably look at it. I don't know if he's been out there, but the last couple of weeks it has gone down quite a bit. So my question is just could there be a timeline put on it? So.
So without the actual violator being here, I'm not sure. Joe, do you know of anything about how strict we can be? Because it does seem like it's only getting wetter.
Yeah, I mean, the commission can place a timeline on it if they want. I mean, this was put on the agenda more of a update for just sharing what the plan is. So, I mean, the commission can still put in a timeline, I guess. It may just be better to notify the violator to come in and hear that.
All right.
Just so they can contribute to that conversation.
That's fair.
But yeah, the commission can put in a time frame if they want.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the winter coming, and then it's probably not going to happen until next year. And
So are floodwaters noticeably higher as a result of that fill material and not just purely related to a high water?
that's really hard to say. I know the summer affected big time, but the fact that there is a violation there, regardless. The material's supposed to be removed. So I'm just kind of like to get this chapter of my life behind me. That's all. That's why I'm bringing up the timeline. I'm just like anxious about winter coming, and the problem hasn't gone away for me. I am I looked at the GIS map. I'm like less than 10 feet from the wetland line. She's 45 feet from the wetland line. So it doesn't affect her nearly as much as it affects me, in my opinion.
Well, I just want to say that, the GIS maps are an approximation of where wetlands are.
Okay, but she's way further away from the wetland than me. I mean, that's a fact.
I don't know.
I have a copy of it. My house is like right against that dark green line, which is the wetland. So it just concerns me because I'm so close. And when we did have the heavy rains, I did have groundwater coming up through my garage floor, my basement floor, and 25 years, it's happened a handful of times. But this is the first time in quite a long time. So it's just looming. It's a concern for me and my property. So.
So what would the protocol be? Invite her back in and?
That's what I was
tag
gonna
them
suggest,
and
is
put a timeline
that,
on?
yeah, we reach out to her saying, we expect them to be here for the next meeting, and then we can discuss,
Give her
yeah,
the opportunity to show or not show.
yeah.
I think that's, where you like that, Evan?
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's common sense there.
That's fair.
We're sympathetic to you, but.
No,
we gotta
no,
go by
that's
the
fair.
rules.
She
And we're
should-
appreciative that you brought it to our attention.
No, it's fair, very fair. And I appreciate this whole summer, Joe has been he's been responsive, and he's done
Please don't
everything.
inflate it.
He's done everything he can as far as I'm concerned, but there comes a point where I know the wet summer kind of trumps a lot of things, but I feel like,
Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. There's a violation. and we
Right.
need to-
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't matter
right,
whose
And we did.
yard's flooding.
And
what.
we did all agree that it needed to be rectified.
exactly.
So, we're trying to do our part.
I get it.
The heavens opening up isn't.
That definitely messed things up.
You
Yep,
didn't plan that, right?
no,
So,
I appreciate your time, and we'll see you at the next one, I guess.
so I'll coordinate with the resident, because I still did say, we'll wait for I do still think it makes sense for wait until the water recedes so that someone can actually get in there to dig stuff up to actually
Absolutely.
see.
And you have noticed did you say you noticed the water receding, or Joe?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely receded.
It has
Yep,
been receding.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know how far it's receded.
I don't know either.
So that would-
Quite a bit, but, I'd say it's mucky back there, so it might still not be feasible. I'm not in her yard, so I can't really see, but from my perspective, it's gone down, several feet. The pictures that you see, my fire pit underwater, the water is, back to where it usually is, away from the fire pit. And the planter that was completely underwater is now exposed, so it's definitely way better.
Well, I say we invite the individual back in next time and we look at a timeline.
Excellent,
And if it doesn't rain in the next time, then we're in better shape.
right. Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do I close out that? All right. Agenda item G, tree cutting discussion, 740 North Street, Assessors Map 51, Lot 3. Joe, do you have any updates on that?
I don't, I just left this as a placeholder, but I'm trying to send out the letters from the last meeting by the end of the week.
All right.
So hopefully by the 18th or
Okay. As discussed last time?
Yes, yeah.
Try to,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Any other discussion on that one, or shall we move on to agenda item H? Not hearing anything. Emergency certification, 34 Valewood Circle, Assessors Map 117, Lot 11.
So this was an emergency certification issued for tying into the municipal sewer system. The septic tank was located in riverfront area, but it had a failed Title V. The health department then issued their order, and I subsequently issued the emergency certification with the conditions as described in the document.
Any questions or comments from the commission? Seems pretty straightforward.
So what is this pump that they're putting in? Is that to pump up the sewage to the sewer line?
What are you looking at?
The
Sketch.
sketch? Or was that a pump they had in before?
Has to be new. You wouldn't have a pump in your septic tank.
Well, it's a common pump chamber. Yeah.
Probably like a grinder pump or something to get the
Well,
flows up, and that's probably a force main that goes to the sewer line.
I'm sure it's got to do with elevation.
Yes.
Yeah, it is down on a hill, so I would imagine it's for,
It's a pump chamber.
yeah. So just to force it up the street, just to get to the main line.
All right. If there's no more discussion on this, could I have a motion to ratify the emergency certification?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, any old business, new business, or admin reports?
Nope.
Nothing? All right. I will just say, as far as new business goes, we'll be doing some outreach sessions at some point in the future. We haven't decided on the days that yet, though, so can't say anything beyond that. All right, and next meeting is October 18th, 2023. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Good job. 31?